Hello, everybody. This is Booleanator Dave with another edition of Daily Discord. This one's pre Rum and Coke, and right now it's just me in the Discord server. So, if anybody would like to join me in the Discord server, I'm going to sit here until somebody does. And if they don't, before Rum and Coke comes around, well, they don't. But until that point, let's just go ahead and open up the Discord. I wish the 5 people that are watching now, somebody would come into Discord. I don't know why there's 5 watching. Seven watching. Ooh, 7. But still nobody in Discord. There's 7 people watching me talk to myself. Like I said, there's not a whole lot going on in here until somebody comes in here. Although Rum and Coke tonight is on with Dolo the Pilot Man. The Discord invite is in the description, so if you want to come in and you are... Oops, I did not put a Discord invite in there. That is my fault. Let me go ahead and add that. That was my fault. Come on. Gotta love YouTube being slow. Save changes. Although, those people that are normally in Discord should be in Discord already. So, I'm not sure what's going on, because there's usually people in Discord all the time. Yeah, there's the Discord link. So, if you want to join Discord, please come in. I will get you your roles. Let me see if this Pyphoros will come in. Able to come to stream live. Let's see if he comes in. I don't see him coming in. This is kind of boring, although I would hope somebody would come in at some point. Because normally somebody's here by now. When I first had the idea of coming in here and streaming, obviously, there was people here. By the time I got it set up, they left. That's usually how that goes. Boholbo is coming in, I think. Stream live. Stream live. For some reason you are here, Geostreber. It's not the actual Rum and Coke show, so, you know, this is the pre-Rum and Coke show, as it were. I'm not yet drinking my Rum and Coke, so I'm not getting drunk. There you are, Bo. You're muted too, so I don't know what's to tell you. My audio level is low. Let's see what I can do to fix that. Gotta love all this. There's so many different places to set that. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, sorry about that. Still getting used to Discord.
Is he okay, Gio? Is that better? Let me know, because I don't want to be too loud. Am I okay to you, Bo?
Yeah, you were. Before I opened up the audio from Discord and I was listening to YouTube, you were actually rather low compared to the Great Debate community streams.
It figures. There's always some disparity there,
well,
because
your computer is probably just infected by Microsoft.
Of course, it's always infected by Microsoft. No.
Then again, mine is. I mean, my Mac is not on, so I should be in the same boat as you.
Well, the problem is you have to mix it in so many different places. You have the mixer, then you have, of course, you have OBS, and then you have Discord. Discord pretty much mixes itself. And then you've got OBS, which is its own mixer, basically. And then you've got the outside mixer, which I use Voicemeeter Banana for, and apparently I can boost it there. But if I boost it there, it'll turn up the volume in both places, both in Discord and OBS. And I don't really want to do that, because if I'm fine in here, I don't want to bust your eardrums.
No. Shouldn't it be the possibility to insert both a compressor limiter and a normalizer on OBS?
I haven't got that far.
I used to work in the music industry.
I haven't got that far into OBS yet. OBS is pretty much free software, so
yeah.
I mean, I
miss the days when I was doing events where at the company I worked at. Expensive equipment everywhere, and practically having cotton gloves on and pushing fancy buttons with built-in screens in the buttons, and then it would never be a problem. But having mixing on a computer, not for me.
Can you not hear Bo? No, you should be able to hear Bo. I don't know why he wouldn't be able to hear you.
Who says I'm not?
Gio?
Geostreber. See, no, I can't turn down the...
No, don't worry about your side of stuff, because this is all OBS. Hello, James Collins.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about muting Discord, the audio in my headphones on Discord, and then reopen the YouTube audio just to see. Just for fun. Then again, I'm working on working on a Stone Age Noble computer, so that might just make things more difficult.
Let's see if that boosts it a little bit too. Does that help?
Oh, you got cut up there.
I got cut.
Yeah.
That's
do you have a gate connected, an audio gate on your microphone somewhere?
nope. It's just a microphone to a mic in on an audio on a sound card. Literally, that's all there is to it.
Physically, okay. Does OBS have? Yeah, probably. OBS would probably have a noise gate. I think. Well, I installed OBS a month or so ago. Haven't really tried it, but I think I saw something about a noise gate.
Well,
Can't remember if that was the name of it, but
the way I have it set up is OBS gets its inputs from Voicemeeter Banana. And Voicemeeter Banana is actually quite complex. Oh, you spent 5 hours.
Is that basic? Is that just a basic DAW or?
No, it's actually quite complex. You have three physical hardware input into this virtual mixer, two virtual inputs, and then three hardware outs, which I don't actually have three out set up because the third one would basically be SPDIF, which I don't use. And I also don't use the third hardware input because my front panel audio isn't connected. So then you can route it any way you want through there. So like right now, I have my microphone routed to my one virtual input is routed to my virtual output, which is my actual audio out.
So it's a hardware software combo.
Yeah, and then there in addition
what was the name again?
Voicemeeter Banana, and then I also have a virtual cable, which because Windows has the concept of the default communications device and the default audio device. So the default communications device is what Discord uses and Hangouts uses, and then the default audio device is just what, like, if I play back something on there. So I could switch the default audio really easily with Voicemeeter, and then there's this Voicemeeter aux, which is the default communications. So it gets fun when you start putting OBS into that mix.
Yeah, I wonder if you could. I have a PreSonus. I can't remember the model. It's at work. But I have a PreSonus mixer and a transport control where everything is programmable. Maybe I should take that home and start fiddling with it. Might be possible to use that for everything here. I should try and do that actually. It's been a long time since I last did something related to music, but a long time ago actually. Now my ears hate me for some reason. Well,
I'd much rather be doing this in. I'd much rather be doing this in physical reality because then you can actually look at the line levels with a real VU meter and see what's actually happening. But
yeah, I used to work in a completely analog radio studio at the Salvation Army local radio in Copenhagen back when I was, well, in theory, atheist. I never was, but I was a studio tech there. It was an old MBI console with 4 reel-to-reel machines. Let's see, 3 standard, but standard record players and 1 78 record player. Those were the times. Actually editing a Sunday service or a concert physically on a 1/4-inch tape, physically cutting it. Those were the days. I kind of miss that stuff actually. But yeah, having things between your fingers, it just gives you that extra thing. It's easy and it's quick to make a change, but I see the problem with making records and so on. A lot of room, but
Well, yeah. When you do it virtually, it's kind of nice, but at the same time, you lose the visceral feeling of it.
exactly. But thankfully, you can get breakout boards, so you still have manual control over many things, and you can set it up the way you want to. But yeah, but still, manual, please. Everything physical. But hey, I don't do it for a living anymore, so eh. So what's the I just got the not invite, but the YouTube notification. What was the intended Rum and Coke session for today?
Well, this evening, apparently, Steve is going to have Dolo the Pilot Man on, along with some other people, like Bionic Dance and so forth. Skylar Fiction he's going to try to have Skylar Fiction on, but Dolo the Pilot Man is the main attraction.
But so yeah, Skylar is the woman who makes these awesome Twitch videos about astronomy, right? Or something like that.
No, that would be that's not Skylar Fiction. That's I don't know who you're thinking of. Skylar Fiction does a lot of what is it? I'm trying to think of the best way to describe him. He's an atheist, and he does a lot of discussion, debate type stuff with fundamentalist Christians. So
okay, fair enough. It's just okay. Yeah, I have terrible memory, but every now and then I remember a name, and I just wait a minute. But more than one person has the name John, I guess.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm looking at my mic details in Windows. I've got it full boost in there. So I don't know. I mean, I can boost it on my mixer, but like you said, that clips it. So
what's the microphone?
It's a gaming headset. It's a gaming headset.
So. Okay, okay. So no pad on the mic then.
No.
That sucks. That's why you need a physical board.
Well, I was thinking of just getting like a better mic. I mean, heck, I gave Sean Hufford money to go buy a physical mic before I actually got myself a better mic.
The pain and suffering of people helping others before helping themselves.
Hello, Dave, in the chat. Hello.
Okay. You say boo, but this could get a little confusing, Dave. Booleanator? Yeah, that's one person, but my first name is Bo, so this could get confusing.
Right, and then my name is Dave, and then there's other Daves that come in here, Dave McGinnis. And then there's Dave Delafiore, who's also a moderator over in the Great Debate Community G+ group. Yeah, it gets a little wacky.
Yeah, and before somebody makes the comment, Bo is not necessarily a girl's name. It can also be a boy's name. Certainly in Denmark. My oldest big brother's name is Jan. That is also a boy's name in Denmark. Just making that clear. Although I don't mind it, but anyway. It's easy to spell. Let me just, keep it at that.
Yeah, somebody said they were having a talk with Multi-Tom-Tom. Like, why? Why would you submit yourself to that?
Who would do that?
There's a part of me that wants to... He's one of the few people that I just want to reach to the screen and strangle.
And just... Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'd just give him an old-fashioned dad bear claw against across the face that you can see for a week. But that's me. But no, every time I see him in a chat, I tend to drown him with his promise he made to become a ball earther and so on. If he was proven were wrong of something, I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, but
He never.
he'll never admit that he was proven wrong either. So,
Well, nah, of course not. It's always fun to. Sometimes when you see uh, when you see him not, well, practically just ignoring me, but then other people pick it up, and copy pastes my comment to him. I know I can't hear him yell at the screen, but I'm imagining him getting red faced. But and by the way, if people are curious as to what I'm talking about, I just posted the link to the YouTube video and the timestamp where he made a promise. Let me just put it on both places here. There you go. Yeah, I seriously doubt he'll ever go to New Zealand and kiss Dazzle the cameraman's boots and become a ball earther. But it's, fun to shove it down his every time I see him.
well, I was watching the debate, and I use that term quite loosely with him and Geostreber in it, and that's just they were both drinking, and he literally said
Well,
he
the
doesn't believe in chemistry. He doesn't believe that nuclear reactors are a thing. He doesn't believe in quantum mechanics.
Well, he doesn't believe what he's saying himself.
Right.
He has admitted that he is a creationist, but at the same time, he is also, well, if he's a young Earth creationist, he would probably be the type who believes so strongly in the Bible that he does not drink alcohol. And you said that he was also drinking in Geostreber's live stream?
Right, and he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim on top of it.
He's also a Muslim. Oh, yeah, sure. Right.
So I personally think he's full of shit. So
would that be would that be a multi-theist or? Yeah. But no, it's actually I'm not the mean type of person, but it is fun to troll him every time he comes up with a stupid comment in a live stream chat. But occasionally he does come up with a decent question, and I tend to answer him, and he has actually responded in kind to those questions. So he's not a complete asshat. Of course I can pronounce Geostreber's name correctly. I'm Danish, damn it. Es ist mein Schicksal.
Isn't microblogganism from Denmark too?
Yeah, well, almost. I mean, he's from an island called Sjælland, or Sealand in English. But that's practically Sweden.
Ah, okay.
Not really, but it does piss him. It would probably piss him off when I say that. But yeah, he's also Danish.
So Polish to English translation.
Polish?
Yes, because someone in Soundly's chat is putting up a bunch of Polish stuff.
And oh, you mean Soundly's 24/7 stream?
Yeah. I'm beginning to wonder if we need to do something to spice that up, because at this point it's him playing the same stuff over and over again.
Oh, I
It,
can't remember the name. Is it the same guy who I recently chatted with in one stream and then went over for some reason to Soundly's 24/7 stream? You were the moderator,
yeah,
kept
yeah,
going with this stupid.
yeah. I'm
Danke
just.
dir, Steber. Sorry.
I
Well,
hope.
YouTube. Sorry.
He says, I hope. Okay, so it translates as, I hope this is not a live proof of the flatness of the earth. No, it is a
Flatness of the
live
water.
proof of the curvature
Huh.
of the earth. All right. So yeah, that's what we're. But tonight, hopefully, Dolo is an interesting character. He doesn't have a whole lot of. I hate to say he's stupid, but
Well, in my mind, there's two kinds of stupid. Stupid related to general intelligence, without being without meaning it in a negative sense. And then there's the stupid as in rejecting something obvious, for example.
mm-hmm.
I know it's kind of loose, but and I hate to pull intelligence cards, but somebody could be very good at acting stupid. For example, multi Tom. He's one of them.
Yes, I think he is too. I think he's putting on a very big act, to be honest with you.
Hmm. The question is, does he need to be drunk in order to do it for a longer period in time, for a long time, or is it an acquired taste of I can't remember masochism?
I don't know why he does it, but nobody,
Apologies
nobody.
if you get audio from Soundly's live chat. I don't know if it'll mute on this from the beginning. I'm just starting his live stream to watch.
Oh, okay. I I don't think anybody could be that inept when it comes to a question like, where does a cell phone, how does a cell phone know where you are? It doesn't just know. Like, that kind of a stupidity. And you ask him, like, well, it's pre-programmed. Well, that's not an explanation.
Yeah, it's pre-programmed where you are at the moment. Yeah,
No, it's not pre-programmed. It has to
and I don't.
figure it out somehow. You can't be that stupid not to understand that, you know?
No. And
I mean, you
as
think
far as
that.
I know, it is impossible to at the moment to have a precise enough inertial navigation inside a cell phone, if that would be the way it would do it, if not programming. Well, that wouldn't be it either.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about a flat earther by the name of Multi Tom Tom.
Oh, and he thinks that GPS is fake?
Well, among other things, there's so much contained in it. It's not even funny. Like, but yeah, he didn't think that GPS was actually a thing. He thought it was all based upon cell phone towers, and he actually got into, and this is months and months and months ago at this point. He got into a hangout with Geostreber, and basically Geostreber said you would, if you were to use cell phone towers to determine your position, you would need at least 3 cell phone towers to triangulate yourself. And he explained that to him. And she showed him why. He literally drew a picture for the guy. And he's like, no, it's all pre-programmed. That's how it figures out. You just need one tower, and the tower. And he's like, well, if it's the tower that knows how you were there, then how does the tower is it the tower that tells your cell phone, or is it the cell phone that tells the tower where you are? And it just went back and forth like that, basically, back and forth. It was ridiculous. That level of
I already have a headache.
dumb fuckery, basically.
I am in too much pain right now for this shit.
It's kind of funny. He's not, apparently he's not smart enough to use the argument of cell towers using the signals from the cell towers for triangulation. That would have been a valid argument.
Or at least plausible.
But he doesn't even do that.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He just says, "Oh, it's pre-programmed." Like that's some kind of explanation.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not.
no. I would really like for one solid month that every single time a flat earther talks to a sane person, that every single time a flat earther tries to get a ball earther to explain something, throw it back at them, tell them, ask them to explain how things work. Just deny every single time that they try to get us to explain something about how something works, and demand that they explain things instead, and see how that would go. I mean, it's too many times. It's a standard deflection from a flat earther in a discussion on YouTube, trying to get them to explain something about how the world works, and they deflect and start talking about, well, how do you know something is real and not fake? So that's a wet dream of mine.
That's not how an argument works. If you want me to believe that something is like something or fake, you have to demonstrate it first. Then my part of the argument is to demonstrate the opposite. That's how arguments work. If you're gonna make they don't get what claims are, they just make them. Hi, Muppets.
Well, it's a bit like talking to I haven't tried this before, but talking to a creationist, claiming, well, if you ask him, well, how does this work? Well, because God. It's impossible, apparently, to get them to explain how God could even exist, or just demonstrate how it would be plausible for a God to exist before they even start talking about, well, this is how God did something.
Well, that's
easy.
They don't
you just
think like that.
it.
They don't think like that. To a creationist, this is how when I was a Christian, this is how I dealt with it. God existed because he's God. That's it. That when they say because he's God, that's how they envision it. That's not them arguing. That's just them saying, well, this is how I see it. Which is fucking retarded. They don't go the extra steps to figure out, well, why do I think this?
And in their mind, they are completely coherent.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Sometimes they don't even have to be completely coherent to themselves, because even if you do talk to them purely about logic and scientific fact, well, you just don't understand everything. God does, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the infuriating part in that case is that they just don't want to know anything. They just claim something and apparently don't want to explain something.
Well, a lot of that goes
into
sorry, go ahead. A lot of that goes into like their personal psyche, and like.
Well, like yesterday, Sock Account was talking about that on a stream. I forget. I think it was Midnight Sparkle stream, and Sock Account was talking about that, and he was basically saying he was talking to Christian anarchists, and Christian anarchist is one of the smartest people I know, but he's still got that cognitive dissonance going on when he talks about certain things when it relates to Christianity, especially since he's a Calvinist on top of it. So,
wait.
So
I'm sorry. He's a what?
A Calvinist.
Calvinist. Okay.
So basically, Sokka was basically asking him, like, okay, I forget which one of the Gospels he mentioned, but one of the Gospels says there was one angel, and the other Gospel says there was two angels. And he says one of the Gospels says there's one, and Christian Anarchist says yeah. And he says the other one says there's two, and Christian Anarchist says yeah. He says one does not equal two, and Christian Anarchist says yeah. So they're different, yeah. So they're not the same, correct. So one of them's incorrect. No. The Bible
or
can't,
both.
The Bible can't be the Bible cannot be incorrect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, I don't even understand that. It's kind of weird because I grew up extremely religious, and even like Calvinists were considered the out people.
No shit, it's because they're crazy. Not as retardedly crazy as Mormons, I'd say, but
No, but
they don't have magic underwear, do they?
Here's the thing with Calvinists. It's like, what are you preaching at that point? If you believe it's all predetermined, why bother?
It makes no sense. Like, even from like a religious standpoint.
Why
Because
pray?
It's supposed to be about free will.
Yeah,
why pray?
Why bother in the first place? Exactly.
Why proselytize? Why pray? Why care? Just lie down and leave your fate up to God. If you get up and make a sandwich when you're hungry, then so be it. God said so. Otherwise, just sit there and starve to death and let us sit
Whenever
here.
I hear like a Christian talking about predestination, I'm just like, so what now?
Oh, so I was predetermined to go to hell. So God made me with the explicit purpose of burning forever because He loves me.
Well, no, it's not even that. It's worse than that, because in that case, God came up with the reason for you to go to hell, said that it's bad, created the place which is hell to make you suffer for all eternity, and then predestined you to do it.
I've always said that God is a bully.
Yeah.
He's like a kid in a playground. He's found an ant's nest, and he happens to have a magnifying glass. And whenever an ant does something he doesn't like, he fucking burns it.
Well, the thing is, that's actually better than the situation, because the actual analogy would be like taking that ant away from everything else he knows, putting him in a situation. If that ant eats like a breadcrumb that you left in there, then you're gonna burn him.
Good point.
Like, that's the actual analogy, which makes it worse.
So what you should do is you should kill all the ants on the outside, put a bottle on top of the hill, and then just start stomping crazily, and they'll start emptying into the bottle. And then you go and
let the ants like get to the point where he's starving, put a piece of food in it, and then as soon as he eats the food, then kill him.
If he doesn't like raise up on his hind ant legs, I've seen ants do this. I know they can. If it raises up on its hind ant legs and gives you praise first.
Yeah.
Then
like, it doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I kind of bombasted into this chat. I'm sorry, guys.
And I went with it.
You're all right. It's just a simple pre-Rum and Coke discussion. Did you honestly think we're talking about getting drunk and having a real subject?
Yes.
No. So something that I would love to have answered would be, what is the... I need to fix my compressor level here.
I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get some rum.
Yeah. What is the actual point of prayer? Because the Bible does don't remember and honestly don't care about where it says it, but it does say that prayer should be done in private. So why would you pray? I mean, God is supposed to be omniscient.
Yeah,
in other words,
God
he knows everything. So
He knows what you want. He just wants to hear you beg for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's narcissism comes to mind, unless I remember the words incorrectly. It's just, it's so weird.
Well, somebody said that, and I think again it was I don't know if it was Suck Count or one of the other people in Midnight Hangout, but they were talking about the functional MRI, and they were saying when people, talked about their experiences with God, that those experiences were very much akin to the section of the brain when they talked about themselves. So you bringing up narcissism is very interesting there.
Well, I mean, you're having to conceptualize something in your own brain that doesn't actually exist. So that makes a little bit of sense.
Right, but the fact that you think of God is in the same way you think yourself. Yeah, just a second, Gio. And it's quite interesting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Narcissism, God made man in his image, all that shit. It's all tying together.
It's backwards. Gio, you're unmuted. You might have to leave and come back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Hello, Gil.
Hi.
Hey. Welcome.
Thanks.
And now that you've arrived, I have to go see a man about a dog.
You have fun with that. As long as you're not wrangling my dog into a car, taking him to the vet, because that's annoying shit.
The funny thing is, when I grew up extremely religious, the only time we really prayed is when you were told to do it, or basically follow the instructions of the church. Like, it's time to pray. And then the other times were if I did something wrong. Those are the only times I prayed.
I prayed every night, and I mean every night that I could think to. And it would get so bad that I would cry myself to sleep praying. Because there's I was convincing myself that there was some sin somewhere I hadn't atoned for. And
well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the nightly prayer thing is a normal thing.
But, yeah. And I've said it before, I have sleep apnea, so I could die literally any night. But that led to me crying whenever I pray, because I could die any night. And if I died and I hadn't, asked for forgiveness for one sin, I might go to hell, That was my thought. My thought process.
Do you use a CPAP?
I do use a CPAP.
Okay.
I'm getting the at my sleep. But the mask
did you
is
brand
fucked up
that too?
What?
Did you brand that too?
Nope. Don't mention that. Don't bring that up while we're on stream.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't know. You just sent me
Well,
a
now
random
you know.
picture.
I did send you a random picture.
Which rum are you drinking?
Which what?
Which
With
rum
Coke,
are you
obviously.
drinking? No, which rum?
Flor de Cana. Flor de Cana.
I'm drinking Kraken.
Could you use a CPAP just like as a medicinal thing?
Do I use my CPAP so that I don't
No,
stop
I
breathing
mean,
in my
could a
sleep?
person who doesn't have a serious condition use one just for the
So
benefit?
I guess maybe you could.
They're
But I don't-
prescription devices, so it's
Okay.
kind of hard to
Yeah,
get
it
one.
was-
Sure.
It would be hard to get one if you didn't
Go
go to
steal a person's CPAP machine just to use it.
I think I'd be pissed if someone took mine.
I mean, there's a whole lot of old and sick people who have them, so chances are if you break into a house and find one, an 80-year-old woman uses it.
Yeah.
So don't.
Or
You
some,
might be killing grandma.
or some
be-
fat
become-
fucker like me.
Become
Or,
an EMT,
yeah, me.
and then when they die, take it.
It would be a lot easier for you just to become their nursing, their in-home nurse.
I don't want to be them around that long.
I
ginger
almost
liking in
saw
the
my
back.
great-grandma naked once.
That's too much
Yee.
information.
Yeah.
Okay, I came back too soon. Oh, tennis balls.
I feel
tennis,
bad for her
tennis,
nurse. Her
tennis.
nurse had to help her bathe at the end.
Hey, Sater, have I told you the story about when I was working at the jail and they had this thing called Ativan, where we brought in 80 people
You
that were
didn't give
over
me a
70
chance
years
to
old from
answer
nursing
you.
home. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm assuming I haven't told
haven't.
you the story.
Nah, you haven't told me the story. Why don't you?
I am. You interrupted me. You
Yeah,
troll.
but you didn't. You asked me a question and you
Satyr,
didn't
Satyr.
let me finish
Later, just let it happen.
Satyr, shut the fuck up.
it. Go ahead.
But no, we had to book 80 people who were over age of 70 years old because they were drug running out of this assisted living home, and they busted the entire place. They were what was happening was the elderly people were selling their prescription medications to the orderlies, and then the orderlies were selling them on the street.
That's
What?
funny.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. By the way, the jail I was at was only for 112 people legally, and we brought in 80 people in one night.
Nice.
The jail was already packed. We had people sleeping on the floor on cots.
That's
It was that bad.
hilarious. That's
But
hilarious.
wouldn't that be illegal?
No, it's not illegal because they don't have it. They can stay there as long as we're trying to transport them somewhere else. Like we can't just put them on the street.
No, I know, but
It's not. It's. I know what you're saying. Like the reason it's rated for 112 is because of fire code. But when we literally have nowhere else to put them and we're waiting for transport, we have to do that.
no, well, yeah. But and the fire code. If it was in Denmark, in Denmark you can rent a school out of season.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you have an event of some kind, you have a big big event for kids or adults, whatever, and you need somewhere to put them so they can sleep for the night. You can use a school, but you have to have night watch going on consistently because of the a fire hazard, and it is not allowed. It's not approved for sleep or whatever it's called. I guess it would be the same here. If you increased your guard runs or whatever it's called, patrol routines, I guess it would be all right. But sometimes you just have to do what's needed.
Yeah.
And throw the book in a corner.
The best thing about that incident wasn't that. It was the fact that like when you're booking somebody, you have to ask them. One of the questions that our jail has to ask is, "What's the most serious felony you ever committed?"
Ask,
2 of them said murder.
but ask
murder
them and not look it up.
No, you can. Okay, you can look it up, but it doesn't work on the same system. So like you have to ask that for safety reasons because you can't instantly look it up.
Yeah, for safety, because they'll totally speak the truth.
I mean, it's also so they can, like, to be fair, if they lie, we're gonna find out. So they just perjured themselves. So.
Oh, to a government or official or what it's called, that would be a perjury. Yeah. And finable by definition, or.
Yeah, well, they're already being brought into jail for one thing. So if they're lying in the course of an investigation, they can be charged with that.
So,
Right.
so all you need to do is to call it an investigation at that point.
Well,
Yes.
they're in jail. They're in jail.
Yeah, they're if you're doing anything to impede investigation, you can be charged with it.
I don't think it's perjury, but it's interfering.
Well,
with the
it's
investigation.
interfering, but it's
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
basically perjury. If they did it in the court, it'd be perjury.
If you have if you had them sign a certain document, you can make a perjury problem.
Well, they have to sign to anything they're attesting to me is true.
Since
True to their knowledge, right? Which
Yeah.
means they could possibly.
Oh, I forgot I killed
Misremembering.
my husband back in '93.
But
since
you
you're
also have
married-
to take into account their medical conditions, because if they're
Well, yeah.
like if they're in some kind of, I don't know, have some
It's a
kind
rare
of,
it's a rare time it comes up, but it does exist. Is all I'm saying.
kind of like, I don't know, dysphoria or some kind of problem associated with Alzheimer's or something like that,
Yeah.
then obviously you can't hold them legally accountable for anything they say in that state.
Well, I mean,
because-
when we say felony, we're just saying that like they've already been charged with it and convicted.
Just to make something completely clear to me, in Denmark we have prison. That's when the verdict has been made, but we don't have jails.
But really,
No. I mean, you can arrest somebody and you put them. The police puts the person who has been arrested into a arrest. That's the word we use, but that's the only thing that's being used for. Is that basically the same as a jail in the U.S.?
It depends. It depends like what county you're in, because jails are by county, and they just hold people until the trial and conviction has happened.
Generally speaking, you only go to jail if you've committed a felony.
Well, that's not. Yeah, again, it goes by like county to county, right? Because like in Kansas, where I was, an officer who arrests somebody can put a person on a 6-hour hold, which means they can't leave the jail for 6 hours, even if they bond out.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna append to that too. If you're catty with the officer, I mean, if you're not consenting after you're already fucked, that'll get you maybe locked up for a night. But generally speaking,
a lot of it depends on the charge too. Like if you've got if you are convicted of like a misdemeanor, most of the times those misdemeanors are served in what would be considered jail, and then like if you're convicted of like a murder charge, that is considered a prison worthy.
No, but I mean initially you're gonna go to.
But yeah, initially you would go to jail, and they would put you. They might separate you from general population depending on what you did. But yeah.
Yeah, Gen Pop is usually people who are brought in for like a night. And it's like 20 people just living all together, doing their thing.
So people going to prison, but for whatever reason they can't accept the person going to jail yet, and you put them in jail for a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks or something. Does that time spent in jail count
if the judge
as part of the sentence?
to.
Or
I mean, he can commute the sentence, but he doesn't have to.
It's up to the judge. It's at the judge's discretion whether a concurrent time.
Okay. In Denmark, if I do something weirdly stupid, and the police arrests me, and they go to the judge and they say, okay, in Denmark, you're only allowed to keep a person in jail, as it were, for a maximum of 72 hours. That's a maximum, unless you have extreme situations. But if the police goes to the judge, okay, we really need to keep this guy locked up for at least a week so we can investigate things, and they get this approval from the judge. If they do that, and for example, I spend I don't know, let's say a month in jail. When I go to the court and I get convicted and sentenced to, let's say, 6 months in jail, I have already served 1 month. That's
in most
that's
cases,
a standard in Denmark.
The judge will give you concurrent time. Just depends on the severity
and the judge
and your history. Really.
When I was arrested for possession, I was looking at spending I was looking at spending 2 months sort of sitting in a holding cell waiting for my trial, right? Because Texas. But my dad had connections at the place I was being held at, and he got me moved up on the list and had my bail paid by the next day, right? So I got out the next day. If he hadn't managed, if he was just a normal guy, not a cop, and he didn't have connections, I would not have been able to. I would not have been able to get out. But they would have given me 2 months off of a maximum of a 6-month prison sentence I could have gotten.
We don't want you in jail anyway, Sater. You would have been a pain in the ass.
Man, fuck that. I already had a cop look up my ass, so I don't want a prisoner doing that.
We had one fucker who would change his religion every single time he got booked. Every single time, like depending if there was a religious holiday going on, he would always change his religion.
Hey man, I'm just gonna tell you, if I had a plan. If I went to prison, I was gonna ask for a Bible, and then I was just gonna go through it and I was gonna mark every single thing I found immoral, and then just leave it.
You can ask for it all day long. Doesn't mean I'm gonna give it to you.
You think they wouldn't give me a Bible in a Texas prison?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They would probably force you to receive them.
There's one in every cell.
I'm not gonna tell them I'm gonna.
There's one in every. They're all Gideon Bibles from the nearby hotel.
No, please. Texas is the most Christian place here in America, aside from the fucking boonies. You know, full well they got Bibles everywhere. Anywhere where
I remember we had to take Bibles out of our jail at one point because people were trying to write documents inside of them in secret notes.
You sure that could not have been in Texas? You would choose a place that nobody ever looks.
I mean, it was in Kansas. It's just as bad,
Even
in
worse.
my opinion.
Probably worse.
Yeah, Kansas is about as bad. I lived like an hour away from those Baptist guys, and those suck ass.
Oh, Westboro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so happy when he died.
Kansas is probably the most conservative state, right?
No, it's not the most conservative. I actually love love living in Kansas because generally the people are nice people in comparison to other states I've lived in, and they're not in your face about it as much.
There's Florida, to be sure.
You just gotta stay away from the cities in Kansas, I bet.
Oh yeah. There are two states I never want to live in: Texas and Florida.
I live in Florida.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
That's because he doesn't want to move to Florida. Yes.
Everybody, let's get a GoFundMe account so we can get him to move.
Me?
Come on, guys. Everybody
to
pitch
Ohio,
in.
Maybe?
I might be moving wherever I go to school, so hey, whatever.
Okay, so we're gonna force him to live in Texas. Go.
No. Just no.
Just take it.
Just
Shush.
no. The last
We're
time
gonna
I
pay for you to move.
The last time I lived in Texas, it was San Antonio, and I was in Fort Sam Houston, and that was bad enough. It was freaking hot as hell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
I can't take the heat.
Oh no, it wasn't fucking dry. Are you kidding me? It was just fucking hot.
It's just hot. It's hot, goddammit.
By the way, I have a question in terms of sentences. I realize that in practically, well, I shouldn't say that. In most first world countries, if you get a life sentence for something, it's not actually a life sentence, unless you get 105 consecutive life sentences, like in the U.S. But what in the U.S. what constitutes a life sentence? Is that 20 years or something?
It can be 50 and up.
Depends on what the state is too. Yeah, it depends on the state.
Like, there's a bunch of different things that go into that.
Yeah, it can be over 50 easily.
To be honest, like they're giving out so many 100-year fucking sentences now. Very rarely do they give a life sentence.
Well, you know that
So
like
that would be a
doctor
consecutive. Wouldn't that be a consecutive sentences instead of just one sentence?
Maybe they do that just for parole purposes, because maybe you can.
Oh yeah.
Well, again, it depends on where you are because
with a life sentence, you might be able to wiggle.
You know what's fucked up? There's a story of a guy who was on death row here in America, and he through the legal system managed to get off death row, but he still had 3 life sentences, which is easily at 150 years. And he was like at peace because he didn't know when he was gonna die that way.
That just doesn't add up. You get you get sentenced to death and enough consecutive life sentences so that you will never get out of prison. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. To get a life sentence, a literal life sentence, and a death sentence.
The point isn't reform for a lot of people, for the more violent people.
Well, yeah,
probably.
I mean, that's why, like I was trying to say, like that Olympic doctor, when he got convicted, his sentence was literally I think it was like 700 years total.
Ouch!
If you
he's
die,
never getting, and none of it's commutable. He's never getting.
If only he lived in Israel, I'd say 2,000 years ago, he would have made it out.
Oh yeah, he could start a religion.
They could get 900 years old back then, I hear.
I heard that in some prisons, if you die before your sentence is up, they keep your body just on grounds until the sentence is over, and then give your body to your family.
Nah.
I heard that.
Not from my experience. If someone's doing that, that jail needs to have someone go through with a fine toothpick because they're doing other shady shit.
Yeah, that's creepy as hell.
I've heard of at least.
Well-
I heard there's, like, and this is me hearing this shit, so you take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I heard that there's a prison somewhere in America that does that.
Like, let me put it this way. I had a
Like-
dude die in my jail one day. He was out of that jail within the first hour.
I do have a
Because we
question.
don't
Body outta
want
here,
dead
fuck
people
that.
in the jail.
If you have a morgue in your prison, what the fuck? No morgue in my prison.
Yeah,
The-
give
no,
say,
the
but
j-
what
the-
what
my
is it
jail
in
was connected to the
Germany?
sheriff's department, which is connected to the morgue.
The morgue
What about
is
life?
just, the morgue
Hey
is just
guys.
hey tornado.
Hey,
Phil.
tornado.
Hey Geo.
Hey, hey.
Gio's been really quiet.
Yes.
Oh god.
Yeah.
He's planning
I don't even hear him
planting the
sharpening
bomb.
his knife either.
He's planting the bomb, guys. Run!
Washink,
Well, why should I sharpen my knife if it's already sharp?
Yeah, that's kind of pointless.
Is
No,
it?
Extra
no, it's
sharp.
not pointless. That's the point.
Yeah, it's not pointless. It soothes the mind. Steel brushing up against steel. Mm.
Can we
Speaking
start
of which,
hashtag
what's the? Sorry.
No, go ahead. I had a stupid joke. Go ahead.
Okay. Gearslaver, what's the? I forgot to mention earlier, by the way. Life sentences in Denmark is, I think it's 15 or 20 years. I'm not sure. What is it in Germany?
It's either 15 or 25, depending on the degree of guilt. Like, if you're sentenced to life, there's a possibility you might get out after 15 years. But during the trial or after the conviction, if the judge or judges define your degree of guilt, like your motives, for example, for the murder, they can add to that sentence that you don't have the possibility to leave after 15 years, which means that the minimum then is 25.
Holy crap!
And
I just
it isn't actually guaranteed that you get out after 25 because there's a thing called Sicherungsverwahrung.
Yeah.
Let's call it security confinement in English. And that means that after those 25 years, depending on your psychological state, like if you're still a danger to society, they may still keep you in, but in a sort of special prison, which isn't as strict and so on and so forth, just to make sure that you don't get let loose to society again.
No, I imagine that since journalists from all over the world came to Denmark for this part, I imagine everybody here knows about Peter, the submarine guy who killed a journalist in his homemade submarine. He was sentenced to.
Kim Wall, wasn't it? The journalist?
Sorry?
Kim Wall, wasn't it? The journalist.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He was sentenced to safety confinement. I'm not. I think he's going to do that time in a normal prison, an open prison. But that doesn't mean he gets out. But a prison where he has more amenities than a basic inmate. But there is no time limit on his sentence. He continually gets evaluated. He probably won't get out. That's
so Bo, I just looked it up. The longest American life sentence is 30,000 years.
Holy shit!
Wait, what?
Holy cow, man!
How many sentences
let me
is
guess.
that?
He was an Oklahoma child rapist named Charles Scott Robinson.
So, did he get like 2 months for every child porn photo he had on his computer or something?
Well, he had 6 counts against him for 5,000 years each.
What the
in
heck?
1990.
How do you get 5,000 years each?
He was a child rapist.
Was he a Christian?
It's in Oklahoma.
From now on,
now
on, when people say that child rapists don't get convicted enough, I'm just gonna be. What about that one guy?
The second longest one was 21,250 years.
Actually, the statistics for the child rapists might be okay for the conviction, but only because this guy got 30,000 years. All the other ones are below average, probably.
He spiked the statistics.
He makes up for everyone else.
He smashed the bell curve.
It's kind of funny. Like the first one was Charles. He got 30,000. Number 2 is this Allen guy for 21,000. Dudley, who's third, got 10,000.
So this guy sacrificed himself for all the other sins. No way.
Prisoner sentence. Actually, there is actually the world's longest prison sentence is in Thailand, with over 141,000 years.
The guy's bones won't exist then.
I would, if I was the judge and I saw that, saw that on my paper, I'd be like, "You're not getting out."
He's the one that.
I would just say, "You're done."
But she was released after only 8 years. Because the Thai law of the time specified that those convicted of fraud could not serve more than 20 years in prison.
That's bullshit. What's the point then?
Yeah, there appears to be a difference in the law system in Europe compared to America. Like if you do 2 felonies in America, you will get sentenced for both, and the sentences for those will be added, right?
Yes.
They could be served concurrently, depending on how severe.
So the way this works here, if let's say you commit a murder and a rape, the maximum punishment you get is for only the murder. So different felonies or different sentences you commit will not be added to one another.
Depending on the circumstances, I would say that rape would be worse than murder.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously depends on the sentences that are possible. It's always the worst one that will get.
Hey, Sater, I think I found that one dude you were talking about. His name is Bobby Joe Long. 28 life sentences for a total of 99 years and 1 death sentence.
Wait, stop. He has the longest sentence ever and is called Long?
No. This is the 5th longest.
No, I gotta ask. Does he have a beard? Like,
I don't know. It doesn't have a picture of him. He killed.
Don't beard shame people.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Okay, I don't have a beard anymore.
If someone were actually sentenced, if that person is really sentenced to 30,000 years, their bones won't exist by the time they get out of jail.
I said that, motherfucker. You stole that shit. Get the fuck out of my Discord.
Everybody, now we need to have a plagiarism trial. Who wants to be the judge?
Ha ha ha.
I'll be the judge. I'll be the judge. I'll be the
Fucking
judge.
Tony Tag's taking everything.
I say let Gio be the judge because he sounds more official.
Oh, ha ha ha.
I think Bo Hobo's accent makes up for not being official.
But I'm
anyway.
What?
Bo can be the defense attorney.
I'm the
How
moderator.
am I supposed to take that?
I'm actually the moderator, so I'll be official. So fuck off.
Oh,
Speedy.
shut
It
up.
doesn't
No,
matter.
You can be the prosecutor though.
Oh, okay. That's more fun.
That's the the
Also,
fun job.
I made another YouTube video for more test footage. If you
Does it
got
have
that.
more plagiarism in it?
Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I actually riff off journalism and Antonio.
All YouTube videos have
the MCA.
plagiarism. All YouTube videos have plagiarism in it. They call it fair use, though.
There are special rules against that kind of plagiarism, okay?
30-second rule.
We all agree to it. I did not agree to have this fucker steal my words and warp them to a very bad joke.
I'm
fucking with you,
sorry.
Tornado. I'm just fucking with you, Tornado.
This went totally sideways, but let's go on.
It did.
I'm not joking. I want to see this happen. This sounds like a great thing for Rum and Coke night.
Yeah, man. Fucking Shaggy and Tornado showdown.
But better yet, we gotta use Maritime law.
Ex-Brony versus Tony Tag. Let's go.
Maritime law.
Wait, what now?
Keel haul
Maritime
him.
law.
Keel
Yes,
haul him.
Did you hear what Truth Seeker said once in my hangout regarding maritime law?
No. What?
No.
Okay, so we were
Who
talking
is
about
Truth Seeker?
a flat
A
earther.
dumbass.
Oh no.
So he said that he was asking me whether I had ever talked to the the president of my university, and he said that I said I didn't, and he said, yeah, you never talked to the CEOs of the corporations, and I was like, what corporations? My university isn't a corporation; it's state-run. And he was like, no, it's definitely a corporation. I was like, no, don't forget I'm not in America. And he said, oh yeah, I forgot you're in Europe. I forgot about my maritime laws.
I just gotta say,
What
Right.
does? Wait a second. Wait a second. What does the German university system have to do with maritime laws again?
He just didn't understand that this is not something that is regulated by maritime laws.
That's the sovereign citizen type bullshit.
Yes, yes.
That's the only reason I brought that up.
Maritime laws existed before the country of Germany really even existed. So.
Yes, they did.
And also, I've never heard of the sovereign citizen bit.
Oh God, no, we're not doing
Oh.
this. No.
Let's.
Have I got some links for you, Tornado?
Let's talk about the eye from Soundly's chat. Let's talk about that motherfucker. That guy.
But really,
Wait a second. Wait a second. Let's talk about the eye, because the eye is from Scotland, and apparently he does not agree with the MPs who signed on with the UK 310 years ago. So he believes that Scotland has never been conquered. So therefore, he is sovereign from the UK. He does not believe.
I hate these fuckers.
He's a Scottish sovereign citizen, but he doesn't call himself sovereign and a citizen. He's like,
The best line that I've ever heard is so we had this one person brought in. I was naive at the time, and I was just like, so explain a sovereign citizen to me. And this lady was just like, it means that I have all the rights of being an American, but I'm not American, which means I don't have to follow your laws.
right. So it's a
To be honest, it looks like the sovereign citizens you have in the United States appear to be rather harmless.
Oh yeah, I've seen the ones in Germany. The ones in Germany are fucked.
Yes, that would be my argument. So they actually don't call themselves sovereign citizens over here. They call themselves Reichsbürger, which means citizen of the empire. And
good lord.
They think that the German Empire, as in the state before the Second World War, still exists for some reason.
Yeah, they don't accept that the current regime is actually in power or anything.
Right, they don't accept the current constitution.
Last time I checked, don't they have like 10,000 members? 450 of them are actually active,
Approximately, yes. I mean, the numbers vary, but those fuckers are actually dangerous. Last year, they quite close to where I live. They shot a cop.
What do you mean before World War II? Like the Third Reich?
Yeah.
The German Empire.
No, the Weimar Republic.
Oh, I'm talking about a different one then. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sliding scale because the Third Reich always officially was the Weimar Republic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to determine. Some of them actually think that it's not the Weimar Republic; it's just Prussia, which is even weird.
So I have a question.
Man, that's going down a rabbit hole of insanity right there.
What's the correlation between those type of guys and the fucking the white supremacists, the Nazis in Germany? Are they the same type of people?
They overlap, but they're not identical. No.
That's what I would say, right? Like they probably overlap. Like a lot of sovereign citizens in the United States overlapped with militia groups.
Yeah, and you know it's really fun when you get a sovereign citizen that's also a flat earther.
Oh
yeah.
no!
Yeah, those exist.
Who's a creationist?
Have you guys heard of Moors? The American Moors?
Not Moore's law, I guess.
Oh my God, that stuff kills me.
Moore?
So they
Even
think
worse than
that
you
they
can
think
see?
because of a treaty in 1776, roughly, no, 1789, that the U.S. signed with the Moorish nation in Morocco, they believe they're Moroccan citizens.
What the
What?
That's not it. That's Google. Like you can find YouTube videos of this shit.
I am
It's
glad I
batshit
started
crazy.
early. I'm glad I started early with my Rum and Coke.
You got a pregame, man. You know.
What would be worse, the American or the what did you say? What country?
Morocco?
Yeah, what would be the worst, the Moroccan or the American criminal code?
Both. Well,
Worse?
for one,
In terms of harsh sentences.
I guess it's probably the U.S. I don't think that Morocco has the death penalty anymore.
Morocco doesn't exist. Not as a country, anyway. Like what they're talking about is a treaty with the Barbary pirates.
Oh
Right.
shit!
Right.
Like that's what they're talking about, and they're talking about the Moors, which weren't a country; they were a people.
I have a friend who says she's from France, but she's not French, because her family was in Morocco when the French decided to abandon them. That's how bad it got there.
So you can,
French.
but
No,
I mean these days you can be a trans. What is it? Transracial. Can you also be trans? What would you say? Country?
yes, you can be
That's
trans.
a thing, actually.
Yes, it is.
That is a thing.
You can be a person
The
without
thing
a
is, there's
country.
actually rules for those.
I have a question too. I was born on a U.S. naval base in Okinawa, so
You're U.S.
You're a U.S. citizen. You were born on sovereign soil. Sovereign
Exactly.
citizen.
God damn it! Shut up! No, don't start this again. No, if you're born on any American base, you're American.
It's
plus
like an
my
embassy.
parents were American citizens as well.
That doesn't matter. Not for this specific reason. Hashtag forget Ted Cruz exists.
Question. If he was born on an American airbase, could he run for president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wasn't
No,
it
wait,
not the same question with Ted Cruz?
Yeah, it
Because
is.
I
But
think
Ted
he was
Cruz
born
is a little
in
bit
Canada on
different.
an airbase.
Ted Cruz
yeah.
is a little bit special case.
Yeah.
Totally
he's
not
not
gay at all.
elected.
Yeah.
We all know that Ted Cruz is special, but that has
We
nothing
all
to do
know
with
he
his
was the
birth-
Zodiac killer.
He
birth
doesn't.
status.
He doesn't pass the IQ test, you.
Are you sure about this?
Quite.
I mean, just look at
Hey,
what
at
is
least he's
currently
not-
in the Oval Office.
To be fair, he's
Oh!
not Jeb Bush.
True.
Spiteful. Nice.
Poor Jeb Bush. When I saw that one time when he was having that speech, he's like, "Please clap."
Oh no! Oh man, the cringe.
Touche,
Holy
Gio. Touche.
Geo,
Yeah.
you don't want to take a look at what's in the Oval Office. You want to take a look at what's going down the Oval Office.
Did you guys know there's like 152 positions that are yet unfilled by the president?
Speaking of Christian anarchists,
Wait,
here he
wait.
is.
By yet unfilled, do you mean that he hasn't actually given those jobs to anyone, or
Yeah,
that he
it's
has,
them damn democratic communists.
or
trying
has
to
he already
ruin this
fired the
president.
people in there?
No.
That's-
Like, he's never appointed a head of NASA.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Like, there's actual, like, consideration because of that, because literally he's not doing his job.
Until NASA becomes Tesla and they start
So-
mining rocks, we should probably chill, right?
So is there any legal way to like get rid of him?
There is, but it's a lot of hoops to go through, and it doesn't happen very often,
And you have to be
and
careful.
we need to remember Mike frickin' Pence.
Oh,
yeah, I'm about to say, I would almost
But-
rather deal with Trump than Pence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Pence looks like he's from the 1950s, but he thinks like he's from the 1650s. Oh, what's that you say? Her pregnancy was terminated before birth. Well, clearly she's a witch. Hold a funeral for the fetus and throw the mother in a lake.
That's actually based off law that he wanted to pass, by the way. You guys let you know.
Wait, Pence wanted to pass that law?
Well, Pence wanted to pass a law that made it mandatory for anyone who got an abortion to hold funerals for the aborted fetuses.
What?
Yes.
Jack off.
Dick.
And there was no money to pay for that. So what it would be was you would have to arrest mothers who didn't hold these funerals because then they're breaking the law.
Yeah. While their while their emotions are running amok.
I mean, the
because
whole
of
reason
great,
why he wanted to pass it was so
Okay,
people
yeah.
wouldn't get abortions, because you're basically saying, get this abortion if you want, but if you do, you have to pay like a couple of $1,000s to be able
But-
to hold a funeral.
But lest we.
Is he
lest-
also-
But wait a second. Lest we not forget that law also included not just aborted fetuses, but
Oh yeah, miscarried.
miscarriages. Yes. So if your body decided it wasn't going to carry a pregnancy to term, all on its own, you would still have to have a funeral for said fetus.
What?
And
a
if you
fucking
couldn't-
piece of shit.
And if
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't do that, the mother would be arrested, wouldn't she?
Yeah,
Yes.
'cause she's breaking the law.
Is he at the same time?
Mike Pence,
Is he
you are
also
a dumb fuck.
is Mike also a supporter of abstinence only
Yes.
sex education?
Or-
Oh, yeah,
dude,
that would go
Mike
sound
Pence-
great.
Mike, okay, I want you to
Oh,
picture
man.
the most, like, fundamentalist Christian in politics, and then that's Mike Pence. Like,
That is
Mike Pence is also a person who supports gay conversion therapy.
So everybody,
That sounds dangerous. Wait,
it is, but everybody.
That's
that
the whole
sounds
point.
like a good way to cause mental damage to someone.
So like gay conversion therapy. Isn't that like you take a bunch of gay people and put them all in like the same building?
Every time they show a tendency, you have to punish them for that tendency.
Yes. And
Oh my.
Some of
Which
it
is a good way to bring about post-traumatic stress.
Another, like,
Or
there's
BDSM.
tons of different ways to do it, but one of the most common ways to do it, quote unquote, the quick way, is to give them this drug that every single, like, it would make them throw up and then make them look at a bunch of homosexuals having sex.
Wait. So yeah, they're literally giving them the Ludovico treatment.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Like, it's not a pretty thing.
No.
How can this not be illegal?
To be
Fuck's
fair,
sake,
guys,
America.
to be
Wake
fair, fundamentalists, if you want to watch a really good documentary, not about this specifically, but Kidnap for Christ, go watch that documentary. In the United States, it's perfectly legal to sign your kids away to these organizations that can literally kidnap your kids, take them to another country.
I think I saw a documentary about that.
Yeah, it's like Kidnap for Christ is a really good one. Basically, they would kidnap a kid if their parents signed off on it and take them to this completely legit and Christian camp that just so
Christian
happens to be in
anarchist.
the islands of Caribbeans.
Can you hear us, Christian anarchist?
Hi, CA.
Mike was just not
Yep.
in the...
There you go.
There he is.
But they shut that camp down after that movie got released.
Yes, but those still exist. They still exist. Nothing legally changed.
But
It's
it's
just
still,
this one place got
would
shut
still, it would still be torture to do something like that. How can that?
Well, it's not
still
torture
Be...
unless you can prove it's torture.
Prove? Oh, that would be easy.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
it would
not
be.
really, because in the United States, like, malicious intent and torture, like, you have to, quote-unquote, leave marks and shit like that.
Oh, and the retarded notion of what is it? A good lawyer is 9/10 of the law, or something stupid like that.
Yeah, that's
It's
a little...
not the actual evidence. It's how good a lawyer you can get to twist the law and the interpretation of it.
Yeah.
Fucking retarded. That's why I do not like. I literally hate the American justice system for that reason.
Yeah,
You can literally get sued by a parent because you've been walking down the street, and just as you pass this parent with a child, the child sees you picking your nose, looking at it, and putting it. I know, but still, putting it in your mouth, and you can get sued for mental stress. And win. I mean,
I would need to see. I've seen some pretty outrageous cases, but that's outrageous. Like, remember when I was talking about that 6-hour hold thing? We had a cop who we nicknamed 6 Hour, because literally every single time he brought in somebody, he just so happened to put him on a 6-hour hold, which means they couldn't bail out for 6 hours. This motherfucker brought in a dude for jaywalking, if you know what jaywalking is.
Not exactly sure.
Jaywalking is when you cross the street at a non-crosswalk.
Wait. You can get put in jail for that?
No, well, what you can be put in jail for is basically for the same reason sovereign citizens get put in jail. It's because they don't give up information. So if he's saying you're non-compliant, he can put you in jail for it.
Oh, that way. Okay.
Until you comply.
Yeah, until you can bail out. But in Kansas, if you put a 6-hour hold on somebody, you're stuck in there for 6 hours.
But is the police at least allowed to decide for themselves whether or not, for example, if they stop a new driver because the driver accidentally?
Well, yeah, everything's left up to the cop to actually decide if he wants to do it or not. You can technically get a ticket in the United States for jaywalking, but most cops don't do it because most cops who I know aren't assholes.
It's
Right.
a waste of time.
It is a waste of time because most of the time a judge is going to look at a jaywalking charge and say, this is such a waste of time. We have
by the
more
way-
important things to do in my court, and they will actually come down on the cops saying,
Oh yeah,
get with a
That's
pro,
how case-
get
this
with
guy
a
got
pro,
fired.
for the police as well.
Yeah,
Get
this guy I'm talking about ended up getting fired.
yeah,
because of this.
they'll say, get with the program. You have more important crimes to deal with than people crossing the street where there's not a crosswalk. Come on, get over it.
I would accept it if the police officer see this homeless guy and feel sorry for him and can't legally do anything to help him out, except ask him to do some jaywalking, and then you'll get the and spend a
Don't
night.
send him to jail. Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Well,
like
you can't get incarcerated for being homeless just because you're not allowed to camp on a
or vagrancy and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just so used to having a let's call it a fair justice system in Denmark, where we don't treat people like animals.
So we Americans treat ourselves. So you're saying America treats its own people like animals?
Yes, Tornado.
I mean,
that's what he's saying, and
well,
we do.
Sometimes yes, but sometimes no.
We're criminalizing the poor.
Yes, we do.
I mean, to be fair, guys, you can get
and
in
trying
the state
to criminalize girls who went through a miscarriage and want to punish them for it while they're emotionally distraught. Yeah.
Okay, that's one state though. It's not...
Well, yeah. Like I'm not gonna say for all states or all counties. I'm just talking from my own personal experience.
Right. Yeah.
But like personally, if you're in Kansas and you're a cop, don't send the homeless to jail, because that's the worst thing you can do, because then they can get caught in this never-ending loop of going to jail. Because in the state of Kansas, they have this thing called commissary, where you have to buy everything you need, including toilet paper. You get one roll of toilet paper when you go to jail. And
basic amenities. What the hell?
Every toilet paper roll after that costs $1. Costs exactly $1. And so if you can pay for those with no money, they'll be put on your commissary bill. So when you're let out of jail, they'll send you a bill. And if you don't respond to it, then they will send more bills, and I keep racking, and eventually you'll be declared delinquent to the law, and then you can be brought back.
That's literally juvenile. What the
it's juvenile, but I'm just telling you.
Come on.
But like the thing is, you have to realize it's horrible, but the actual fact of the matter is, it costs $91 a day in the state of Kansas to house an inmate, and they don't have that money.
So wait.
Yeah, so they do something that will put more people in prison. Great idea.
So yeah, the logic is, in order to spend less money, you make the cellmates pay for their own toilet paper, instead of maybe getting rid of some unnecessary laws that puts people into jails.
Well, you have to realize that, especially in Kansas, it's a money-making business.
Credit card.
I know it sounds cold, but I'm just speaking matter-of-factly. When you go
privatized.
Cold.
It's privatized.
It's fucking...
Well, not the jail itself. The jail itself is county. But I mean, they have to follow the same example led by in Kansas, is the El Dorado State Prison, which is privatized. And Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but this is one other thing that I really don't understand. The United States is technically one country, correct?
No, not technically. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I mean,
we're one
some of the most
country
stupid things.
50 states plus territories.
There you go.
But the thing is, if you have the something called I don't know, the American Constitution.
Yeah.
That should be relevant to every single state in the U.S., right?
It is.
It is.
But why is it not followed?
It is.
To the letter. No, it isn't. It is not followed to the letter.
It is.
Here's the thing.
How many public schools have the Ten Commandments written on?
Wait a second, Bo. Here's the thing about the Constitution. The Constitution specifically guarantees the sovereignty of the states. The states have more rights than the federal government.
Yeah.
Specifically per the Constitution.
That's why the first two-party system we had was literally between the Federalists and Thomas Jefferson's Republicans.
But that would technically mean that the state, I mean the state doesn't have any power.
No, the state can make laws.
They can only suggest what the states should enroll in their local laws.
Well,
the states can make laws that follow the purviews set down by the Constitution, but if they're not, if the Constitution is so general that it can't apply to everything,
and that's
the whole point of it.
And that's what amendments.
You guys do have the supremacy clause, don't you? Which means that federal law will, if in conflict, override the state law.
Correct.
Yes, it does.
Right.
But federal.
Therefore, wait, stop. So therefore, if you have anything that's in the Constitution, and the state law is in conflict with that, the Constitution should override it.
Correct.
Except none of the laws that you're talking about are actually going against what's in the Constitution.
Right.
They're just finding ways around it.
Right, and here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Constitution. In order to actually have the Constitution, which is pretty much all of federal law, I mean, there's more federal law books than that, but it's not that
interpretations based off that.
It's not that much more than that. And here's the thing: you have to have all the states ratify those laws. There's a whole process, and getting Congress to ratify that and getting all the states to ratify that and getting it all to pass, there's this huge process. If you look at the last amendment to be ratified, not just passed, but ratified by the states, I think it was something like Amendment, 29?
I can look it up to make sure, but I believe so it is.
27, actually.
But yeah, Amendment 10 gives the states pretty much any right as long as it doesn't conflict with judicial or federal
right, and
laws.
27 is and you know, we're talking about things like prohibition, and prohibition was like the only one that ever got repealed because it's like, oops, we're sorry, we didn't mean to say you couldn't drink. Yeah. You know, things like that. That's where congressional amendments come in. It's nothing like the little minutia that we're talking about. That's left up to the states because
that's why I was really
states'
like
rights are considered paramount.
Yeah, that's why I was really on like teetering on what to say when you asked if the United States is considered one country, because technically it is,
but it's not. Right.
It's more like a more enforceable EU.
Oh, no, I don't agree with this. I don't actually agree with this.
You don't have to agree with it, but that's what it is.
That's the case.
Because by that logic, Germany would be the same as the US, because all this is actually pretty much identical.
No, it's not. You would be more like Kentucky.
No, wait.
Germany would be more like Kentucky.
Pause it. Hold on, pause. The thing is...
Do you know... Stop. Do you know how Germany works? Like, what kind of government it is?
Let Gio say how Germany works.
Is it a centralized government like like for example France?
No.
Right. We have 16 states that are pretty much organized in the same way as your 50. So yeah, it's one country but with subunits.
Is it a constitutional republic, Gio?
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
So, if you're saying that Germany is one country, you have to say the same thing for the United States as well.
It is.
But can Germany's states leave the supposed German Union?
Our states can't. Our states can't.
They can.
That's one.
And also, I would like to say the 50 states isn't actually 50 states. It's 48 states and 2 commonwealths. There's another difference. Just to point that out.
True. But anyway, here's the point. Your constitution is different than ours. There are differences.
You have more federal power.
Yes.
That's correct. That's true.
That's why I made the it's not a perfect analogy, but it is an analogy that works because there's basic judicial laws and mandates laid down by the federal government, but at the end of the day, everything local is left up to the local constabulary.
Mike B has a good question, suggestion in the chat.
I won't hug you.
Oh, that's okay.
What's up?
He's talking to Chad.
Mike B, whom are you addressing?
I can't see.
Or
well,
sorry.
Chad said it's painful to hear people speaking like they know what they are talking about. Mike B said to what part of their getting wrong. And
I'm open to being wrong.
Not that they're getting wrong, it's just not quite right. Which part?
Well, also
all of it because it's sort of off the cuff, is more involved than what's being spoken. And Chad's correct in that statement because, of course, law is often more involved than anybody can speak to off the cuff.
Exactly.
Because none of us are actually lawyers, so there's that.
We're also
Well, apparently I am.
letting each other
are you?
talk, so we can't.
Well, I made him a
But I
lawyer,
was
remember?
coined as one.
Yeah, I made him a defense attorney. He's not a real lawyer.
No, nobody.
Hell no.
Nobody in this
No.
in this chat is actually a
No,
lawyer.
I mean, he's a defense attorney, which means he's not a real lawyer.
But yeah, we're speaking about what we know about the history of our particular constitutions.
And I can be wrong,
you know
but I
what?
will say this: I specifically studied this for my schooling. So
Well, yeah, most of us did too. But yeah,
So at this
to
point,
bet-
wouldn't it maybe be better to get rid of your constitution and get a new one?
Yeah,
Good luck
a
with
sensible
that.
one.
there's
Good
some
luck
of
with
us.
that.
There's some of us that actually believe that, Gio, because like some of us want to have us another constitutional convention.
well, I mean, to be fair, Thomas Jefferson spoke about having it rewritten every 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Oh.
probably gonna log off here soon, so because I'm starting to fall asleep at my chair.
Oh, I'm sorry I bore you.
No, it's not me being bored. It's me being up all night last night. I gotta get some sleep. That way I can get to doing Quiplash tomorrow.
Oh, just eat some Ritalin. I will make
Yeah,
it.
just do that.
And I will be right back. You guys carry on.
See ya.
Yep. Bye.
I just have to actually get the door.
So who likes
Oh,
Warhammer 40?
Remember to put it back where you took it. No, just to better understand this, the U.S. Constitution and the amendments, are they just as powerful? Are they just additions? Or, I mean, why don't you just call it, when you have an amendment and you, what do you call it? Don't know the lingo here, but you get an amendment approved completely?
Ratified?
Yeah, ratified. Isn't it just injected into the Constitution?
Well, yeah, it becomes part of the Constitution once it's ratified.
So
But-
why is it still called an amendment? If unless I'm
Because
You're
it's-
amending
it's-
the original
Yeah, you're
Bill of Rights.
amending the original document.
So is it possible to get rid of an amendment?
Yeah, you can
Yes.
repeal an amendment. That's what we did with the prohibition.
Yeah.
18 and 21.
let's get rid of the second one then.
Give it 300 years and we have plasma rifles.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Those
the
won't even be
U.S. is
called
a very,
arms.
very young country still. That's right. Yeah,
Like,
my town is more than twice as old as the United States. I mean, it's infant. It's
well,
little-
now you're just being ageist.
Actually, so wait a second. So hold this. The United States was in 1776, wasn't it?
So what was
it's
that?
275 years old. I
275. Okay.
think so.
No, 200. Wait.
It's in that area.
Why are you guys judging us?
1783 was the Constitution, right?
1778? Yeah.
78. I think it was a little later, wasn't it?
Well, are you
1776
talking about
was
when
the
we became a
Declaration of
country, or when we
Independence.
made the Declaration, or when we accepted the Constitution?
The Constitution.
Yeah, the
The
Constitution
Constitution
was called
became-
something else
17.
before it became the Constitution, wasn't it?
No.
17.
The Constitution is a separate document that came afterwards. Constitution, I believe, was around 1770.
Fuck it, let's go for 1776.
That's the
apparently
Declaration.
only
Just say the Declaration.
Oh,
There
why
you go.
not
So that's
1666?
All right, so that's 242 years. My hometown was first documented in 1157.
Oh my God! Stop being ageist, you German. you fucking stop it.
So that's 861 divided by 242. So my hometown is
Goddamn
3.56 times as old as your country.
Your
Yeah,
And
point.
the Danish currency is the oldest in the world, competing
Is it?
with Sweden, if I remember correctly, and it's about 800 years old.
That's
You're
cool.
being ageist.
American dollars, my ass.
I go away and we're coming back and talking about the age of currency. Fuck.
No. They're talking about how much older they are than the
Fun
freaking
fact:
America.
the American
I wish
word
we only
dollar.
had-
I'll,
The
I'll,
American
be,
word dollar comes from the German word Thaler.
I'll be the first to admit America's freaking
Oh, yeah.
baby compared to the rest of the world.
Non-population though, that's correct.
We're like a whiny brat with a freaking pacifier
And
missing.
And the Danish pastry called, Danish pastry isn't Danish. It's, what was it? Is it Austrian or German? Can't remember. Wienerbrot. Wienerbrot.
Wienerbrot?
Something called Danish pastry is something, but everybody in the...
Pastry. Give me a second.
Yeah. I think it was a baker from Vienna coming to Denmark and made a special version of it. And everybody calls it Danish, but it isn't really Danish.
Yes. Actually...
This conversation offends me.
Why?
Apparently there was a strike in Copenhagen, and they imported Austrian bakers from Vienna, which brought the dish to Denmark.
Yeah, because Danish bakers couldn't do anything right, I guess.
We stole a burger from Germany. Sorry about that. And the French fry, too, pretty much. It's pretty rude.
And I'm starting to miss mead. Not beer. Well, okay. Budweiser would be still be weaker than mead, but yeah. Oh, sorry for using that word. Oh yeah,
okay.
Talk about beer and Geostreber gets upset.
No, that's not correct. I only get upset when you talk about bad beer.
Yeah. What's the minimum accepted alcohol by volume in your mind? 11%?
No. Well, it depends on the sort of beer, but usually the wheat beers that I like to drink have about 4.8.
Yeah.
Oh, a Danish standard Pilsner.
Pilsner are usually a little bit weaker, like 4.5 maybe.
Well, that's a 4.7. That doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you don't drink American beer, you're good.
Yes, also known as Pisswasser.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Agreed. 100% agree with that. I got spoiled in Germany.
Silent there, all of them.
I got spoiled so bad when I was stationed in Germany.
Oh, stationed? What, when, how, where, why?
Stationed in Schweinfurt.
Yeah,
in Schweinfurt?
Yes.
You know what happened to Schweinfurt in World War II, don't
What the hell?
It was Pigs Ford, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened to it in World War II.
So,
I was stationed there.
Is that a real beer?
Schweinfurt was one of the sites with the biggest industry for ball bearings during World War II. So, since pretty much all like tanks, planes, everything rely on ball bearings, Schweinfurt was one of the most heaviest guarded cities in Germany, and also one of the most severely bombed.
It sucks to be popular.
Well, when I went there, it was because there was a, just a regular army base there from the United States. Because the United States feels the need to put army bases all over the world.
Yeah, the world police. Yeah.
So I felt the desire to travel, and I thought Europe would be fun, and I was right. And once you get to Germany, you start drinking the local beers, and then you come back here, and everything's fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Was the army base in Schweinfurt by any chance called Geldersheim?
No, it was called Ledward and Kahn. That's what they were called, Kahn Barracks and Ledward Barracks.
Okay.
It might have been collectively known as something, but they never told us that.
Was it close to the power plant?
I might be wrong here, but it sounds like the same base that Sly Sparkane lives at.
No, Sly lives near Frankfurt. That's 150 or so kilometers further to the west.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough.
But yeah, it's less than an hour drive from, or maybe approximately an hour from Schweinfurt to Frankfurt.
Well, the only German base I know about it is
Let me get a picture because I I can tell you better than by looking
What
at
about
it.
Rammstein? Never heard of Rammstein?
Yes, that's where I came into the country.
Neat.
But anyway, that's where our base was, and
That was after the accident, wasn't it?
the accident.
Oh, yeah, in Rammstein there was I actually don't know when it was, but there was an air show, and one of the planes crashed into another one, and the wreckages directly hit the audience. So there were like 80 or so fatalities back then.
Wait, in the 80s, wasn't it?
I think
Yeah.
it was. I don't know when it was actually.
85?
Oh, I'm sure it was after that because I was only there in the 90s. So. But yeah, it was out east. So I'm thinking by Niedervernon.
But the name of the city makes me think about Feuerfrei.
Oh, you mean Niedervern? Okay, got it.
Niedervernstrasse. So yeah, the Niedervernstrasse or 303 was the main street that went between the comm barracks would be on the right hand side as you go west. And if you go to look to the left, there's another part, which probably isn't even part of it anymore. You know, I mean, this has all probably gone back to Germany at this point. But you see the little base to the right. That's where I used to live, in that little square. So, and yeah, that's like I said, that looks completely different than it did when I was there. And then Würzburg, Schweinfurt, that little section there.
Yeah.
Club 360
Listening to Americans say something in German always makes me laugh.
Club 360 Grad was actually the PX. So it's kind of funny to look at it now. Or Ledward Barracks actually was.
So what was your favorite beer?
Dunkelweizen.
Nice. Welcome to the club, pal.
Oh God, what did I miss?
Beer.
But
German, of course.
But rum.
No, beer.
Beer.
But I don't want your beer. I have my rum, sir.
Actual real beer though. None of this.
Okay, I've had German beer.
You drink rum because Americans don't have real beer.
None of this
Get over
American Pisswasser.
That's not true. I've had some good
Pisswasser?
American beer.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. I mean, even the Mexican Sol is better than American beer.
Oh fuck you! No. Talk about that bullshit.
Why do you think
now, to be fair, I don't buy mass-produced beer when I buy it. I go to a local brewery.
Oh, that's something completely different. That I have no idea.
Yeah, like I don't drink like this mass-produced shit. I go to microbreweries and shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think that the two biggest Danish beer breweries export so ludicrous amounts of beer to the States?
God, that was a loud chip. Who's eating chips?
Not me yet.
Was it you, Bull?
I'm not actually eating chips.
What are you
but
eating?
I am eating. Those
and you Americans just don't know how to speak English. They're called crisps. Chips are something actually, in computers.
They're actually cheese sticks, but anyway.
Pedantic. Hello.
What happened to? What'd you guys do with the? What was his name? Christian anarchist. What'd you do with him?
Oh, he left. I guess.
We ate him.
I'm halfway through an 18-inch pizza. I need to stop.
What's that in science measurements?
In science measurements.
Yeah, science measurements.
Yeah, what is that in normal units, please?
Yeah,
Listen, I don't automatically do that off the top of my head unless I'm playing War Thunder, because everything is in there is metric.
Times 254.
You guys are assholes.
So it's 45.72 centimeters.
There you go.
It's not our fault your measurement systems are crap.
Listen,
Wow,
I'm not saying
that
they're great.
radius?
I'm just saying that's the one I know off the top of my head.
Is that
Okay.
radius or diameter?
Yeah, that's
Oh, radius. Oh my.
radius.
Oh. Okay, now my mouth is watering.
I'm gonna stop eating for a while. Half of that is good enough for like a while. So I have a question, Bo.
Uh-huh.
So do you know what Warhammer is?
It sounds like a game,
It does sound like a game.
but
Dang it,
the
you
last time I
broke my
seriously was a gamer was by using my Commodore 64 or my Amiga
Oh,
500.
it's not a computer or a console game.
Oh, no, completely blank there.
Okay. No, you're helping me because I'm taking a poll of like people I know from Germany and the Netherlands and stuff like that.
Wait,
It's called Holland.
Denmark is now called stuff.
It's called Holland.
They're all
Denmark
the
is
same.
now called stuff like that.
It's all the same.
But no, my last game, board game, I know you could play this for practically a week, was D&D. I missed that stuff.
Well, this is like a war. It's a strategy type. So it's like played on huge tables and stuff like that with
Is it a
models.
bastardized version of Risk or?
No, it came out way before Risk.
No, yeah, but just to get a feel.
You know what? Have you heard of Axis and Allies?
Nope.
yes.
I'm not much of a
I've
gamer.
heard of them.
So.
Okay, imagine Geo. Imagine Axis and Allies, but with miniatures the size of your thumb all the way to the size of your hand.
Hey, you never asked me if I knew what Warhammer 40k is. Of course
Okay,
I know.
I assume you know, because all Germans know.
I just don't like it.
Generalization.
Yeah, it's not my fault that all Germans know about this completely, okay thing. No, I was just curious. I spent way too much money on that shit.
I don't have the concentration skills for board games anymore. Not
Well, I mean,
not
it's
the big ones anyway. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Ludo
one of
and,
those things you play with your friends. Or if you're going to
Oh,
tournaments.
that's why I'm not playing that stuff.
Oh, because you have no friends.
Well, my computer and my ham radio.
You have a ham radio?
Well, of course, I'm a ham.
Stop. What is a ham radio? Sounds delicious.
Funk-
It's
Funk
not
amateur.
delicious.
Du weißt, was ein Funkamateur ist.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know the English expression for it.
Yay. No. Amateur radio, but a ham. I don't know why, though. But I don't know how ham came about. But
I want to say it's an acronym, but I don't really know.
I
Let
don't
me
think
check.
so. Sorry?
He's checking.
Yeah, of course.
So, history.
Hertz,
See,
That's
who
the
got in
knowledge.
here?
Hertz Armstrong Marconi.
What?
Hertz Armstrong Marconi.
That sounds like a sex act.
Why would Hertz Armstrong Marconi? That's rude.
Hertz.
Is it Hertz?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
a little bit more sense. Let's see, I'm trying to pick out the people in chat who I don't know. Arthur, Magix, and Thinking Trady.
I don't know who Thinking Trady is. Please let us know who you are.
I've seen Thinking Trady once before, and I think he was taken off mute at one point, and then he left. I can't honestly remember, though.
Pisswasser. Yes.
The Peacewasser!
So, you actually know where I got the Pisswasser banner from, don't you?
I don't know where you
No.
got it, but it's funny.
Oh yeah,
I've seen it before.
Pisswasser is the fictional brand of American beer and G.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's some in-game soundtracks and advertisements for it all around the game, which are hilarious as hell.
You know what beer I don't understand how, like, my brother-in-law's a big Corona fan. I can't stand it.
Ew.
Like, I don't understand him at all. But then again, like, he adds, like, 2 lemons in it. I'm like, why are you having to mask the taste of the beer?
That would be like putting anchovies on
wait.
pizza.
So he puts a lemon into his beer.
Yeah.
I'm calling for an execution.
Might as
Well,
well
that's
just,
what you do with. That's the only way to drink Corona is by putting lemons in it.
right. You might as well just have
I think it's the only
lemonade.
way you can bear this.
Like, it's such a weak beer that you have to add that in it just to make it taste.
Why not just boil it down and recarbonate it?
Do you know what's funny? There's a beer, like, I go to get these, like, at the local store, they have these microbreweries that they do every so often. They rotate the kegs out. So they only buy one keg, and then when it empties out, they get a new one. But, I had a peanut butter ale. It was really good.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? It doesn't sound like it'd be good, but I was curious. So, like, it doesn't taste like peanut butter immediately. It's kind of like slow. It's more of a, like, if you mix dark chocolate and peanut butter.
So
That's what it tastes like.
So this does contain peanuts.
I would imagine so. I don't
Okay,
know.
so well, according to the laws over here, it wouldn't be allowed to be called beer then.
Well, it's not.
What?
It's not beer.
Okay.
I said it was an ale.
Well, isn't ale a subset of beer?
Also, this is America, sir. We do what we want. Okay.
Yeah, and don't care about others. Shoot first, ask later.
I remember, so like after I stopped working in jails and stuff like that, I went to be a security manager, and one of my workers, my employees, was asking me, "Should we get guns?" And I said, "Hell, fucking no."
Cattle prods, that would be more fun.
And well, no, I told him no because it's too much liability. Like, it's way too much liability for one of my officers to have a gun.
Sounds like you don't really trust people.
No, I don't. Turns out. It turns out when you mess with stupid people all day, I trust no one.
Well, that was kind of how I felt when I was deployed in Afghanistan. Whenever we were too close to American soldiers, we kind of got we didn't feel as safe as when we were with the Polish or French or.
Well, that's I would argue against that
English
because,
people.
like, I've known a lot of people, but that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but well, there are different kinds of there's different types of American soldiers.
Well, definitely, it depends. It's a unit by unit basis, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like because like also the other thing you have to take into account is like the history of a unit and shit like that. Yes, it is.
There's definitely some dumb people in the unit and smart people.
Oh, that's not what I'm
in a
saying. I'm
unit.
just saying by mass majority though, like each unit is different.
But it's more or less a standard when the Americans had their usual patrol into Geresh, for example. When they stop, kids don't really feel the need to go up to them particularly. If it's the Danish army's turn to do it, we would not. I was on foot always, but our guys were being overrun by kids, not just because we always had coloring books and crayons and so on to
Yeah,
throw
I
out.
get you.
I mean,
Like,
but that was a great warning system. If kids don't come running when we come driving, yeah, that usually means something bad is going to happen.
like unfortunately, I can only speak from like my brother-in-law's personal experience, what he's actually told me, because unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to serve, but like he was in for 22 years, like he was in Bosnia and shit like that, and he's told me like a bunch of shit like that.
I was
too.
in Macedonia, and when I was there with a mechanized infantry unit, and I could give you a huge contrast with the caliber of people that are medics versus the infantrymen. I was a medic.
Oh yeah.
And medics and the medical personnel basically ran circles around the infantrymen because
who were invincible or thought they were.
They thought they were, but one of the infantrymen was his last name was Sharp, ironically, because he really wasn't. He left the hand receipts for the observation post, which is how you transfer the observation post to the oncoming squad, because you're gonna leave and go do something else for a rotation. So the squad sergeant needed it to transfer that. So he left them out. And the dog that was part of the observation post, it was just like an adopted dog, chewed him up. Literally destroyed the hand receipts. He left him out. The dog got a hold. Literally, the dog ate my hand receipts. That's the level of stupid we're talking about with these guys. Okay.
Doesn't the U.S. Military have a mandatory IQ test that the military personnel has to go through in order to get deployed?
It's called the ASFAB.
Yeah, the ASFAB isn't an IQ test per se. It's
and what's the minimum? 70?
The minimum to be deployed is lower. It depends on which branch you are. For
depends
one,
on your job. It depends on what you are supposed to do. If your job is to stop a bullet,
I don't know what the absolute minimum is.
If your job is to stop a bullet, that number is not particularly high.
Like infantrymen are the lowest, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe
they are.
They're called cannon fodder.
Yes, they are called cannon fodder, and there's a reason for that.
Like, there's a reason. I mean, like, it kind of what you're talking about right now, Bull, kind of reminds me of like I got my security training at a Job Corps facility. It took me 6 months and stuff like that. And at the time of that, like we were given ranks and all this other shit, like police force. We had to keep one of our jobs was to man to get on the facility. You had to take down plate numbers, person's name, and stuff like that, because it's a federal facility. This motherfucker, like, these are supposed to be federal documents, so they have to be in blue or black ink, and that's it. And plainly written. This motherfucker wrote in pink gel pen an entire day's log.
But it's so sparkly.
Yeah, this, by the way, just to let you guys know, this guy wanted to be an air marshal. Just gonna throw that out there. Anyway, so, like, if you're writing on federal documents, the way you mark them out is a straight line and then initial, because they want to be able to read that. You don't throw it away. And so I put a giant X on the entire paper and told him to rewrite the entire thing. I come back later and he wrote in purple pen.
Oh God, no!
How does he dot the I's?
Like it was. This guy hurt my brain. It was like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, dude. And one of the things I could do, because at that time I was an officer, for them anyway. I was a captain, and he was a freaking sergeant. And I told him, you're gonna give me like 60 push-ups now, because that's one of the things I could do. And he got to 23 because this guy was like out of shape. And I was like, no, you're gonna go to bed now, and I'm gonna finish the rest of them.
That's when you go to your cabinet, you grab a black Bic out of the box, and you toss it at him. You say, "Fuck you, do it again." Fuck the push-ups. Fuck all the stupid, remedial shit you could do. Just say, do it again with this pen, and if you ever do it with any other pen, I will kick your ass all over the fucking place.
To be fair,
do a quarterly hour inspection to see if he still has that pen.
To be fair, he paid for it the next day, because the next day was we had PT 3 times a week, and I was in charge of PT the next day.
Hello, hello.
So he did not have a good day.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, that motherfucker did not have a good time. But this dude, like, I tried to have like a heart-to-heart to him. He was kind of like talking to a flat earther, but he didn't know anything. He was a nice guy, but he was just dumb as bricks.
But
he's
again,
like, I want to be an
no minimum requirements for sergeant.
Well, this is for security officers, so this is a little bit different. This is for security training, but
military, not military security, but civilian security. Right?
Yeah, this is civilian. So we had to have ranks in order to because what you're supposed to do is it's 6 to 9 months of training. Then you're supposed to go into the police academy, and so it prepares you to do that.
And the military ranking system makes sense.
3 times. Yeah, this guy got demoted 3 times.
But I'll tell you this, like in the Army at least, I don't know about the Marines, but in the Army, in order to advance to sergeant, you have to go through through what's called PLDC, or at least you did.
Yeah, you
have to go through what's called PLDC, and stands for Primary Leadership and Discipline Course, and you have to get together what's called a promotion packet, and that promotion packet has to have a certain number of points. And those points, a lot of them come from civilian education. So you can't be a dummy and be a non-commissioned officer. You really can't.
Well, yeah, if you're an NCO, you're supposed to be in charge of others. Therefore, you shouldn't be dumb.
Right, you can't be a dummy and get promoted. The dummies
or at least
wash
be
out
as dumb as
The dummies stay specialists for 8 years and then they leave.
Yeah. And you'll love this probably story. So I hate Marines. Just as a general premise, I hate Marines. But
they stop bullets. They're good shields. They stop bullets.
Okay, let me put it this way: the people I've met who are Marines, I hate. Does that make sense?
Okay, fair enough.
For instance, my stepbrother was a Marine, and I say was as in he's not a Marine because he was in for 4 years, the minimum requirement, and then he never got deployed, and he was a I can't remember the actual MOS, but he was a helicopter electrician. Never got deployed, and when I asked him about it, he said the reason he never got deployed was because he was so good at his job that they couldn't deploy him.
That doesn't work that way.
I know.
That's a dead giveaway for stupid.
Yeah, this guy was also apparently disabled because of a back injury, quote unquote.
Well, wouldn't that automatically get him disqualified for deployment of any kind?
Well, he's a drug
in terms of battle zones and so on.
Well, no, this happened after the quote unquote 4 years. Like he applied for this afterwards. But I guarantee what happened was this, like the point where he got out was after the U.S. stopped giving waivers for the Army, at least.
Waivers?
You know what I'm talking about, Bull? Yeah, you could get waivers for a shit ton of stuff during like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, but I don't know what you mean. Because
so, like,
you have to.
I wouldn't know about those waivers. I got out in '98.
Yeah, so like you could get normally things that wouldn't allow you into the Army. I'm speaking from the Army because I tried to join the Army. So like I had a GED when I first tried to join, and it was in 2011. And in 2011 they stopped giving waivers out for that. So before then you could get a waiver to join the Army with the GED, but after that you couldn't. So I had to go back and get my high school diploma. So like you could also get tattoos that were revealing beyond sleeves on stuff like that. And in 2012, they started kicking out lots of people because they had too many people in the Army.
What was it? A kind of merit thing?
No, it was just because they wanted more people.
People that they couldn't get enough people because
they over enlisted is basically what happened.
Ah.
Well, here's how that usually works. Like if they're trying to cut back the Army, they'll raise the bar for promotion.
Well, that too.
Like if you're in and you've passed boot camp, they'll just make promotion so hard to attain that you'll stay in your rank so long that and not get promoted that you literally can't re-up. You can't re-up. You can only re-up so many times and stay in rank. And then they're like you've been in rank too long, you got to leave. You can't re-up again because.
As I understand it, compared to the Danish army, the American army, most likely, and many other countries' armies, is that the U.S. Military in general has way too many NCOs and officers compared. I mean, I don't know if it's a micromanagement thing, but
I wouldn't know.
There are so many sergeants. Just take a standard sergeant. There's so many of them.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know if I would go that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'm just speaking out of almost ignorance, but that's the impression I get.
It depends on how you define so many or too many.
Well,
because a lot of it has to do with pay structure. Because, like,
hey, better
NCO pay position is commensurate with NCO pay, but just because your position requires you to have NCO pay does not mean that you're leading anybody.
Yeah,
but in Denmark. rank strictly based on your position, what you're supposed to be doing. You know, if you're a radio operator, doesn't matter. You're a private. If you're into signals, you have to be a sergeant at minimum.
Well,
If you're a platoon leader, and so on and so on. I mean, isn't that the same system being used?
Well, it's a little bit
point.
different structure-wise.
To a
because
point.
you're talking about different different amounts of people in the military for that to work.
To a point, it's the same. To a point, like you would never see anybody with a security clearance who's been in longer than a year less than a corporal. Most of them are E5 and above because of that clearance and their need to be able to deal with people of lesser rank. Just on that basis alone.
When you say clearance, do you mean security clearance?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. In the Danish Army, it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you need a certain security clearance for a job, you get it. They get through the system. I mean, it doesn't matter there.
They get their clearance, but I'm talking about dealing with people who don't have clearance. It's there's a certain etiquette that kind of makes it difficult for somebody who doesn't have rank to deal with somebody who does have rank when clearance is involved.
Yeah.
It's awkward. That's the best way to put it. It's
yeah.
I'm not sure I get it.
It kind of the way you're describing it is kind of like what I would the type of awkwardness I would describe when I was working for county, and when you're interfering with city, and then you're also interfering with federal and state. That's the type of awkwardness it sounds like to me. I could be wrong.
Let's say I'm a private, right? And let's say a sergeant walks in the room and demands that I show him a document, but my clearance says I can't show him the document.
You have to disobey the order.
I have to disobey the order.
Yeah.
But that would be lawful.
It would be lawful disobedience.
Yeah, but it's still awkward.
It would be lawful disobedience, but I have to tell him, Sergeant, I cannot disobey that. I have to disobey that order. And he can actually push. He can actually push that through JAG, and then there has to be an investigation as to why you disobeyed.
Yeah, that sounds.
That would never even get that far in Denmark.
No, it probably wouldn't, but it would in the United States. It would in the United States because.
Well, yeah,
it's stupid.
The American justice system is apparently also damaged in the military.
It is.
Yeah,
I'll be the first to admit it.
It sounds a whole lot like when I was working at the sheriff's department, and like an FBI agent would come to the sheriff's department and ask for information. But if he's not invited, I don't have to give him anything.
Right.
It's not like unless the FBI is actually invited to my jurisdiction, I don't have to give him anything he asked for.
Well, that's legalities.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
You're only dealing with legalities.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's the same type of awkwardness I would imagine. From my own personal perspective.
But when somebody with a security clearance is dealing with legalities versus rank, it can actually become so ambiguous that the person doesn't know how to act unless they have rank.
Unless they have like specific reasons or something, I would imagine.
A specific rank.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So if they have rank, it dispels that ambiguity.
Okay.
It's not that they're in charge of somebody. It's that they don't have any more ambiguity. And they can just say, fuck no, get the hell out of my office. And then there need not be an investigation.
I think it's time to switch to a different topic.
Yeah, it is.
We need a program that's just a wheel for the next topic.
So we had beer, the army, flat earthers.
No, we haven't really talked about flat earthers that much, because there's no one in here.
Well, you had multi-tom-tom as a topic in the beginning, didn't?
Yeah, but he's boring. He's old hat.
Is anyone here agnostic or atheist, or is everybody agnostic and atheist?
I'm atheist.
I would call myself atheist.
I don't say I'm
Damn
agnostic though.
I was about to say, is anyone like? Could we have a discussion on like, is religion useful?
No, it isn't. Next topic.
Like,
Yeah.
see, that's why I didn't bring it up, because it's like literally useless. No one in here is going to defend that position.
Well, the problem is there's way more bad thing about religion than there are good things.
See, in my opinion, if it's a social construct that's outlived its usefulness.
And no, because that implies that it once had a useful.
It did.
Well, it did. It had a usefulness for control, but that's not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing, like, objectively, but I can understand why it would be a good thing for specific, like, when you're talking about historical contexts to hold a community together when literally no one understands what's going on.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's still useful.
The Crusades, if we're talking about
If you're
Christianity,
saying that it was useful for control purposes, then it still is.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying, okay, again, like, I'm still saying that it's not a good thing. I'm just saying that I can see why it could be perceived to be a good thing in historical context.
Right, okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
Because, like, you can look at different, like, certain civilizations would not exist without it, period. And that's literally because I'm not trying to say people were stupid, I'm saying people are ignorant. And there is a difference.
and people have to be better at not perceiving someone's calling you ignorant as something negative.
Yes.
By
And
nature.
that's why I always,
necessarily-
like, that's why I always front that. I'm like, there's a difference between being stupid and ignorant.
Exactly. I mean, how often does it happen if you talk to somebody and you say, no, that's from ignorance?
Hey,
They
Muppets,
take it
I would
very
say
completely wrong.
the only thing
Right.
I would say in regards to that is rather than use the word that, or say that it was useful, I would say it had utility.
Well, I mean, if it has utility, it's useful.
No.
Name me one thing that has utility that's not useful.
Some
Instructions on who and how to take as slaves.
Both statements may be true, but I'm talking more from a perspective.
I mean, perspective's important. I'm just saying that, like, if I didn't have my third person perspective of the situation, I could see why it'd be useful. Like,
yeah, but what I'm saying is when people think of something that's useful, they usually also think of it as positive. Oh, like it used to be a good thing.
yeah, I get that, but that's why, with
But
me
not
personally,
imply good.
And are bad things.
yeah, I can understand that, Dave. But like from the way I explain it, like I think it's clear to people who are actually intelligent understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
I can't be responsible for what anyone else is going to take out of context about what I've said. Like I can try my
you
best.
broke up there, Muppet.
Oh, I'm saying I can't be responsible for anything people are going to try to take out of context.
That's true.
I can try my best
Yeah.
to avoid it. Like me and you have had this discussion about wording, but like there's only so much I can try to do, you know?
Yeah.
Because like I've got like me and you have gotten to this entire argument about wording before.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
you're breaking up
it's
there.
very important. Oh, sorry, my bad. Can you hear me now?
My end, you're breaking up. But yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. All I was saying was that me and Dave have had this discussion before about wording because it's very important. But like there's only so much we can actually do, you know, without changing definitions, which is
Yeah.
against the point. Like changing definitions doesn't help anybody.
Are we streaming, Bull?
Well, not if you do it on the fly constantly. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean, right? If we come to a consensus about definitions and we understand them, that's fine.
Yes, we are streaming, by the way.
Okay. Cool.
Hi, internets.
What was
Hi,
that?
Dave. You've been
Everybody
gone for a
gets
few
quiet.
days. What's up with that, Dave?
What's what?
You've been gone for the past couple of days with me. What's going on?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I've been away. I've been working on stuff.
Oh, and I'm just not good enough to be involved?
Magix, you might need to leave and come back in order to be heard.
I was not in an internet accessible predicament.
Oh, God. He's been converted, guys.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Converted to
A
what?
place without internet, that's
All right, guys, I'm going to head out. It's
Okay.
midnight over here.
Later,
See you,
Gio.
Gio.
Good night, Gio.
So, for those interested, I'll do a Quiplash stream tomorrow. So if you have time, you're all invited to join.
All right.
Das Penis ist klein,
1600
Gio.
UTC, I think.
Das Penis ist klein.
Yeah, it's there, not das.
Deiner
Whatever.
penis. No, sorry.
I don't care.
Why are we
Continue.
talking
Okay,
about
Make,
so
that?
let's make this into a dick contest.
Why are we talking about that in here?
Because
Seriously.
I can.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
sorry.
All right, that's fine. Just say,
Oh.
Steve will say demonetized. All right.
I don't think there's
How many
anything
times can you get demonetized?
until where you start owing YouTube money.
Oh yeah.
No, you can't. I don't think that'll work.
I know. I'm
Oh.
just saying it'd be hilarious.
Sorry to
Like-
hear that, Spooky Bed Hair.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
That does suck.
If you need someone to talk to, hit me up. I can talk about it pretty easily.
Good Lord, there's like a million DMs to me.
Yeah, bull.
You're already here. Why should I answer you?
'Cause you love me.
No.
Aww.
It's relative.
Love is relative.
Yeah, you can love a person, but you also love to torment someone.
That's true, I guess. I could love my cousin, but I can fucking beat the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Why would-
I mean, I love my best friend, but I hate him for letting me save his life by letting my knee take a couple of bullets from him.
Oh, that reminds me of something I'll have to tell you later, because we're on live. The efficacy of telling people to take B17 instead of cancer drugs. Go.
Yeah.
Not at all.
B17 is not a vitamin. Damn.
No, it's actually
Exclamation mark.
it's actually fucking cyanide when it breaks down.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to start a conversation.
But there's cyanide in apples too. It's
You know
not
what's
the
funny?
drug that kills you; it's the amounts.
My mom has a can of cyanide sitting in her kitchen
Why?
because it's an old can of cyanide from 1943.
And you never know when you might actually need it.
It's never been opened, so there's that.
The traditional old person, you're
Oh.
saving. They're saving it for a rainy day, so to speak.
I would
Yeah.
hope she never opened it because it doesn't really have.
But no, that it used to be a cleaner and stuff like that. So
Cleaner?
like you can find cans of cyanide and
Damn.
stuff like that.
I wonder if you could use it effectively as a rat poison.
Yes.
Yes, cyanide will kill rats as well as people.
Yeah, but it's hard to find the balance between killing a rat right then and there and killing it after a couple of days when it has had the time to bring some food to its offspring, so they can use it too.
I would. By the way, I just want to make something real clear. When I made the B17 thing, I was not being like sarcastic. I was curious if anyone was actually on that side. The reason why is because I actually care about that subject. Just ask Dave. So,
Care about the subject in what way?
like, I have cancer.
Mhm.
So, like, I care about that subject. So.
Oh, and you, to put it mildly, get pissed off when ass peddlers try to
Yes.
paint this
To
as
answer
the
your
useful
question, yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I can
I
relate
get
to
really,
that.
really agitated when people are like, "Why don't you just try this? It's cheaper." Yeah.
So you don't.
I could
So
also
you.
die.
So you're not all that appreciative of either Kent or Eric Hovind or Hovind.
Well, the thing is, I hate Eric more than I hate Kent.
Yeah, Kent is old and stupid as no.
Well,
not
also,
stupid.
and I
He's
told
an
Dave
asshole,
this,
but
I've met
Eric
Kent.
is conniving.
The thing is, I've told Dave this. I met Kent when I was younger,
Oh, sorry to hear that.
and yeah, Well, it was when I was still a believer, and so like I have somewhere. I imagine if my mom still has his books somewhere, but like I don't know what it is, but like I like Kent a whole lot more than I like Eric, because Eric is definitely in it just for the money.
Yeah, well, Eric strikes me as someone who you know, face to face could be somewhat pleasant, but also kind of a show off asshole.
Well, the thing is, it's like I can see through him and Kent's guys, because like I'm from the South too, so I can see through like their general well-being, like because the Southerners really do something well, and that's pretending to be nice but also insulting you to your face.
Well, bless your heart.
Yeah, bless your heart.
That one.
Fuck that. I hate that.
I'm a born and bred Southerner. And,
yeah, Kentucky baby.
South Carolina.
Oh, the Carolinians, man. Nobody wants to talk to you.
We're a breed apart, are we not?
Yeah, you're
absolutely.
You're very special.
Don't tell me they're still being bred.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, can we all agree that West Virginians suck the most?
I don't know.
I don't know too many of them, but I mean, the general consensus is that, you know,
they're all hill people.
Yeah, my wife is actually from. My wife's family is actually from Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
the upper mountains of Tennessee. I mean,
so
her
like
grandmother's
near Gatlinburg.
house. No, oh god, and I just had a brain fart. Right about Elizabethtown, Johnson City.
Oh, E-Town.
Yeah, Elizabethtown, Johnson City. Her grandmother's house is on a mountain.
Oh
you can
yeah,
see
nice.
the peak of the mountain from her house, and their up the street neighbors have no power. They trap raccoons for food, that kind of thing. Dry county. So that's.
Oh yeah, I grew up in a dry county.
Yeah, my wife is from there. I'm actually not from Carolina originally. I was originally born in Panama, the country, not the city.
Yeah.
I grew up all over the world. I'm an army brat.
Pronouncing that.
Panama.
No, I heard you say Panama.
Okay, yeah.
The thing is, it's pretty sad. I live in North Dakota now, which yeah, I've lived in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Kansas. The most backward place I've lived so far is North Dakota.
I lived in Montana for 2.5 years, and I mean Great Falls, Montana, upstate.
Yeah, Great Falls is great. I love it.
I
went out there for a few security contracts.
It's a great place, but the problem I had with it was I moved from Columbia, South Carolina, to Great Falls.
It's a big jar, right?
In May 13th, when we got 3.5 foot of snow, when I'm usually, you know, down in Myrtle Beach surfing or, you know, Hilton Head, wherever, I'm digging myself out of my house. This place is nuts. Yeah. And when it's 85 degrees, no humidity, and people are walking around in shorts and tank tops, sweating and going, "Oh my God, this is hot." Yeah. And I'm wearing jeans and a shirt and going, "You're nuts."
Yeah, like I grew up on the Mississippi River in Kentucky, in West Kentucky.
Wow.
Right? And so like I'm walking around right
European
now.
Left. I feel outnumbered.
Hey, you had someone else in here.
You're talking about. You're talking to a bunch of Southerners. I'm in Florida. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in a weird language. I mean, Fahrenheit. What the hell is that thing?
By the way,
none of us are Asian.
I'm just going to interrupt briefly. I'm actually going to end the stream here because it's been going for 2 hours and 20 minutes. But y'all can keep talking in Discord. Just to let you know, I am going to stop streaming so subjects can get a little bit more
in that case,
racy.
Bye stream. Bye see you later.
Say goodbye everybody else. And we will go on to bigger and better things. All right, everybody. And that was the Daily Discord Rum and Coke edition. Thank you for watching. And we will see Steve on his channel for Rum and Coke Night. And thank you for watching.